Okay, so on 5.2b calculator activities, when you put this in and gave an error, so that means does not exist or no solution. Whenever we do this one down here, it's cotan, which means we have to do tan inverse, but then we do 1 over that 0.3458. And because we're looking for an angle, we need to do radians and degrees. Okay, so then let's look at the next one. It's secant 56.23. So secant, what do I use instead of secant? Because there's not a secant button. Cosine. So how do I write this? Cosine 56.23 to the negative 1. So because the value that we're looking for is not an angle like this one, we're not doing the inverse tan function or inverse cosine function. We're doing this because of the secant. Otherwise, we would just put in the trig function. So this is in radians. So we have to make sure that our calculator is in radians. Radians. So we'll do cosine 56.23 and then the inverse. So it's 1.053. Okay, a little further down, we just have sine of 13. Nothing special here. You're just going to put in sine of 13. This does not say degrees, so it's going to be in radians. So sine of 13, make sure my mode is in radians, and it is. So it is 0.420. So sine of 13 is 0.420. Okay, let's look on the back. Are there any y'all want to work out or look at together? Okay, let's do cotan of 0. So this is in radians. So we could do tan of 0 to negative 1. Make sure you're in radian mode. Tan of 0 and it says error divided by 0. That would be where you have like 1 over 0. And so it does not exist, or you can put no solution. Does not exist. Okay, let's go to the next one. It says tan of 26.3. So this is in degrees. So we need to make sure that our mode is degree. So go to mode. Go to degree. And we are going to do tan 26.3. Okay, 0.494. Okay, we've pretty much done at least one of all of these. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next page. So you should have already completed your ed puzzle for 5.2c trig identities. So your trig identities are on your formula chart. So if you look at your formula chart, these are not things that you have to memorize. They're there on the chart. Okay, so let's look at the trig identity. So we'll look at the first one. Sine is 1 over, right here, cosecant. See how it says u and this one says u? U is just your angle. So whatever the angle is, you continue with whatever that angle is. This one's just theta. So cosecant theta. All right, so you should be able to do those. Let's see. Use trig identities to transform one side of the equation to the other. So we do a lot of algebra, basically. This is just algebra with trig. So we're going to put a question mark over the equal sign so that we can see or show that they are true or that it does equal. So we have tan theta times cotan theta. So usually you want to get into your sine, cosine, or tan. I would leave tan and I would look at what cotan is. So if we look at our reciprocal identities, cotan is 1 over tan. So I'm just going to replace this with 1 over tan theta and carry everything else down. And then using just multiplication, simple multiplication, you see that tan theta over tan theta simplifies out and just gives us 1 equals 1. So it is true. So you replace one of the trig ratios or one of the trig values to something else that can hopefully simplify out. Okay. See if there's anything else. Let's look at that. Look at any other one. I think this one would be a good one to do, number 13. All right, we have 1 plus cosine theta and then 1 minus cosine theta. Ah, this reminds me of Algebra 1, where you're multiplying. So 1 minus 1 cosine theta plus 1 cosine theta minus cosine squared theta equals, with a question mark, sine squared theta. All right, so these are opposites of each other, reciprocals, additive, inverses. So this would be 1 minus cosine squared theta equals sine squared theta. Okay, so we need to look and see where we can simplify something out. So this has the squared, so I'm going to go to that, I think it's Pythagorean identities. So look at this Pythagorean identity. Sine squared u plus sine squared, or cosine squared u equals 1. So if I were to subtract cosine squared theta on both sides, then that would equal that sine squared theta. So 1 minus cosine squared theta is sine squared theta. So this is sine squared theta. Which, that is true. Okay, so I'm going to have y'all continue to work on the rest of this, making sure that your entire packet is complete. So just like last time where I had y'all turn in your packet so I could check it, you're going to do that. You can check your answers. Just make sure you show work. So I'll have answers on Canvas, but you have to show work.